Welcome to another lesson in math, and this is on the topic trigonometry as well as social arithmetic from the paper that was written on 7th July 2016. Okay, if you'd like more lessons like this, feel free to contact us on the numbers highlighted in green. Okay, let us go on to the question. So this was question number 12 in that paper. And part A reads DEFG. Okay, DEFG is a rectangular piece of land in which GE, so as shown in the diagram, in which GE is equal to 12.5. So you can see that GE is 12.5 meters, and DE is equal to 7.5 meters. DE is 7.5 meters. Find the value of cosine EGF. So EGF, meaning the middle letter, according to that symbol on top of the G, means that the elbow of this angle is here, and meaning the angle is here on the G. Okay, that's the one we're trying to calculate, find the cosine of this. Now remember, cosine is equal to adjacent side over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse, while sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, opposite over the hypotenuse. So if you like, you can always say the opposite is always equal to hypotenuse multiplied by the cosine, while the adjacent is always equal to the hypotenuse multiplied by the cosine of this. In terms of length, I mean, in terms of length, if you wanted to do it the other around, if you wanted to find the length, and you only have the cosine. If you know the cosine of the angle given, the angle has been given, you want to find the side, you can use the cosine of that angle to find these opposite sides. Okay, but anyway, that's another lesson. In case you found something like that, that's how you think about it. So opposite is always sine. Then adjacent means next to the angle, is always cosine. Okay, so they're asking for the value of EGF. Okay, cosine of EGF. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, for a rectangle, remember that we've been given a rectangle here. It's a rectangular piece of land. For a rectangle, DEG is always equal to EGF. Okay, the angle DEG is always equal to EGF. Okay, EGF. Yeah, because these two lines are always parallel for a rectangle, because this is 90 degrees and that's a 90 degrees. So think about it as if we have two parallel lines cut by a transversal. These angles are always equal. I call them angles in a Z. Okay, even if it's the Z is in the other direction like that, the other way around. If a diagonal was major, if it was running from there to there, they'll still be in the same. The angles in the flipped Z will always still be equal. That's how I think about it. Like, for example, if I pick this angle here, the flipped Z, I'm looking at it in this direction. This angle here in the Z and that one will also be equal. That's for a rectangle, and this works even for a square. You should think about it like that. So these two angles always be, the angles inside the Z will always be equal. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is congruent shapes. Congruent shapes. Congruent shapes are shapes which have the same size as well as the same sides. Okay, the corresponding sides are equal. The corresponding angles, all the corresponding angles are equal. How can we tell? When we have at least two sides that have this that have the same, or if we have at least the hypotenuse and an angle that are equal. I mean the right angle. When it's a right angle and the hypotenuse is the same, or one other side is the same. One other corresponding side is the same, then we know that they are congruent. Congruent shapes, or rather triangles. So in this case, the hypotenuse is the same. They're sharing the same hypotenuse, and they are both 90 degrees. Yeah, they are both 90 degrees. Okay, they're both 90 degrees. So these are actually congruent shapes. And that's another way to think about it. So since we know that this angle and that one are the same, then the cosine of these angles is also the same. But these corresponding sides are equal. For a rectangle, this side and this side is the same, and that side and this side are equal. So we can simply say the cosine of this angle is adjacent, which is 7.5 over the hypotenuse. Okay, so this is what we do. So cosine of EGF is equal to cosine of DEG, which is 7.5 over 4.5. And just to convert these from decimal numbers, okay, we can multiply by 10 over 10. 10 over 10 is the same as 1. So multiplying by 1 does not change anything. So I just want this to be very friendly to me. You should do that, especially in your paper 1. Even in paper 2, it's still okay, it's allowed. Yeah, but for paper 1, especially if you have such tricks, they'll be very useful because you don't have a calculator to do these things. So 7.5 times 10 to be 75, 12.5 times 10 to be 125. Then we divide or find the common factor, highest common factor. For me, highest common factor would be 25. Though I was using something different here, I can notice. But you keep on dividing if you are using smaller numbers until you cannot divide anymore. You cannot find another common factor. That will not leave a remainder. So the highest common factor for me here would be 25. So 25 into 75 would be 3. Then 25 into 125 would be 5. So there we have it. Would be 3 over 5, which is equal to 0.6. Okay, 0.6. Here I think I used the smaller number. Probably I used would have been 5. So I said 5 into 75 into 7, it's 1, into 25 is 5. Yeah, so I used 5 into 25 and 5 into 125, which gave me 15 over 25. And then again 5 into 15 is 3. 5 into 25 is 5. So 3 over 5 is the same as 0.6, because 3 into 5 into 3, it can't, so it's 0. Add a 0 to the 3, then it becomes 5 into 30, it's 6. That's how we do that division. So we've solved for part A. Part B says the cost of advertising in a local newspaper for 1 week is 15.4 kwacha per word, plus a fixed charge of 41.25 kwacha. Okay, what is the cost of advertising 15 words for 1 week? What is the cost of advertising 15 words for 1 week? Now, the way you think about this one is this. So this is social arithmetic, and simply follow the guidance given or the narration. Okay, what the paper is saying. So it's saying for advertising per week, you will pay a fixed charge. So 41.25, this is fixed. Whether you like it or not, no matter the number of words, they don't care. You will pay this 41.25 kwacha. Then on top of that, also they'll count the number of words. And then multiply that number of words by this figure here, 15.4. So each word costs 15.4. So if you have the total number of words, you multiply that total number by 15.4. Then add it to the fixed charge, this one which you will have already paid. Okay, so what is the cost of advertising 15 words for 1 week? Yeah, that's what we're going to calculate. So cost is equal to 41.25 and plus the 15.40 multiplied by the number of words, which is n there, like I had mentioned, yeah, which is n. And then our n is 15 words because we are trying to calculate for 15 words. So just put your 15 there, and this you can work it out, you can multiply. So you need to be very good at multiplication for paper 1 because there's no calculator. So you multiply that, give you 231.00. Okay, That's what it gives you. And by the way, when you multiply two numbers with decimal numbers, okay, like this one, the total number of decimal places in the answer will be equal to the total number of decimal places in the original two factors that you had. So this one has 2, this one has none, this one has 0, this one has 2. So notice there we have 0.00. So it means those are the two decimal places that will be in your answer as well. That's just something to use to check if your answer is okay or correct. Then when you add these two numbers, so know how to add. You always add the decimal places. You always arrange it such that the decimal points are in the same order, straight together. Then the decimal places are added according to their values. So 2 and 5 are added to the zeros there to remain 2 and 5. Yeah, then 231 and 41 to give you 272. Okay, and that's how you answer and go about answering these kinds of questions. The one on mensuration, this is mensuration and past trigonometry. Okay, and even congruent triangles, also on angles, congruent triangles. Angles and trigonometry go hand in hand. Actually, trigonometry is an extension of the topic on angles. Okay, so those are our answers, and we get 3 marks for this question. All right, we come to the end of this lesson. If you need more lessons like this one, feel free to contact us on the numbers highlighted in green. All the best in your studies.